Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, March 11th, 2019. NASA's big announcement today is that they will be opening up lunar samples that have never experienced the Earth's atmosphere for the first time since they came back to Earth, which was nearly 50 years ago. And they're going to be looking at lunar samples from the Apollo 15, 16, and 17 missions, reportedly. The question is, why have they waited all this time and until this day to make this announcement? And I'm going to show you why. It begins with the fact that today is March 11th, written 11/3 like 113 in the majority of the world. NASA was once established July 29th, 1958, a date with numerology of 113, which is a special number to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Scottish equals 113. Of course, NASA is a federal program. The federal headquarters are named after George Washington, Washington, D.C., Washington, who was the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. If you watch the House of the Temple tour from Washington, D.C., again, that's the Scottish Rite headquarters, around the 18th minute of this video, which is titled Washington, D.C. Masons, Freemason Influence on America, around this part in the video, they talk about how nearly every astronaut to have gone to space has been a Freemason.
I learned that almost all of our astronauts have been Freemasons.
Which is absolutely true. Nearly all astronauts Freemasons. Remember, NASA was established in 58. Freemasonry equals 58. So does Rosicrucian. So does Secret Society. The Freemasons born out of the Rosicrucian order. King James, who was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian, dropped dead at age 58. But as I've talked about many times, every single thing NASA does is by the numbers. When you know the code of letters and numbers and how they correspond with dates in the calendar year, you can see through all of NASA's rituals. And this is true for the rest of the space programs in the world. In history, the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason Buzz Aldrin, in the first supposed moon landing, he took a Scottish Rite flag to the moon. Talk about that, why it happened in the year 69 in the astrological time of Cancer. As we've pointed out before, Scottish Rite with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology sums to 57, just like moon does with the alphabetic order. Think about how George with the alphabetic order equals 57. George Washington, the Scottish Rite Freemason, inaugurated as president at age 57. The name Buzz Aldrin also has gematria of 137. So does government, so does authority. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Today's date, the date of this announcement, March 11th, 2019, date with 33 numerology. March 11th, 2019, date with 33 numerology. Masonry equals 33, secrecy 33, federal 33, order 33. The word lunar also has that gematria 33. They're going to open up these lunar samples for the first time. Neil Armstrong, the first man to touch foot on the moon. Notice how his name overlaps with Scottish Rite. Perfect overlap in 2 of the 4 base ciphers. His father was a Scottish Rite Freemason. It was Buzz Aldrin, the Scottish Rite Mason, who touched down right after him. Just in case you're new here, you should know that there are 4 base ciphers. You want to know them all. Scottish Rite's 165 with the alphabetic order, 57 with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, 159 with the reverse alphabetic order, and 78 with the reverse alphabetic order and rules of numerology. Touch more on 78 here in a moment. But with regards to this Scottish Rite flag going to the moon supposedly in the 69 mission, think about what's at the top of the Masonic arch. The symbol for Cancer, which looks a lot like 69. In astrology, the moon is ruled by Cancer. Cancer rules the moon. The moon landing was in the astrological time of Cancer, July 20th and July 21st. The lunar rover landed on the 20th. Supposedly Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin touched down on the 21st. With regards to the word Cancer, What else is interesting is Cancer has Gematria 44 like space. This great accomplishment in space, so we're told. Armstrong, with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, is 44. And with the reverse alphabetic order, Cancer and Armstrong are a perfect overlap. And again, at the top of the Masonic arch, you have the astrological sign for Cancer, which looks like 69. Masonry, rituals. Again, the reason Masonry does this is because they are based in Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. Kabbalah's text, the Book of Formation, says God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. Kabbalah, very important to Freemasonry. So here's the blurb. After sitting untouched in storage for nearly 50 years, which means 49 years and change, Scottish also equals 49, lunar samples collected during the Apollo 15, 16, and 17 missions will be studied for the first time. What's funny about 15, 16, and 17 is if you add those three numbers together, it's 48. Freemason sums to 48 in Hebrew and in English. Look at this blurb right here too. The three samples from the final three Apollo missions have never been exposed to our atmosphere on Earth. 6 of the 9 teams will study the Apollo 17 sample. 6 of 9. Delivered to Earth in a vacuum-sealed drive tube, the astronauts Harrison Schmitt and Gene Cernan hammered into the lunar surface to collect a material core in 72. So 72, 47 years ago. That was the last of the missions. And with regards to that sample from 47 years ago getting the majority of the attention, 6 of the 9 teams, what do we know about 47? Time equals 47. The Masonic compass is set at 47 degrees as a tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid. And with regards to the samples being kept at the Johnson Space Center, notice that equals 78, also like Scottish Rite. We just talked about that with regards to this recent space news, the 17-year-old teenage girl that's going to be sent to Mars to start the Mars colony in the 2033 mission. 17-year-old space Mason, both 17. Apollo 17, lunar sample getting the most attention. Mars Moon Conspiracy, all Gematria 51. The girl being sent there, her name's Alyssa Carson. Gematria of 147, like Freemason, like outer space, like spaceship, like conspiracy. Alyssa Carson, also 78. She's going to be the first woman on Mars, like Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. She's going to set up the colony, 78. See how they do this? You see how they do it? She was also born on March 10th, which is the 69th day of the year. The 69th day of the year. And when this news first made headlines, it was July 11th, 123 days after her birthday. Look at the overlap with outer space and conspiracy. Perfect overlap in 3 of the 4 ciphers. Mars is 51 and 57, just like Moon is. You know, Moon got the 51, 57 like Mars. So anyhow, learn the code, see through the agenda, and because every time I make a video having to do with NASA and how they fabricate their stories by the numbers, there's always a number of people who leave comments and say, Zach, how can you expose NASA but still believe in the ball Earth? Look, until somebody in the flat Earth community can point a telescope at the sun and pull it back up after it sets, I will not believe the Earth is flat. If the Earth is flat, you should be able to see the sun 24/7, 365 with a telescope. And even without one, I maintain that if the Earth was flat, you would always see the sun. You know, the sunrise, the sunset, it proves the Earth's not flat. The stars prove the Earth isn't flat. The whole flat Earth thing is based on fallacy, misunderstanding, thinking your own senses are so great. You know, you guys always say, I don't feel the spin. I don't feel myself moving. Yeah, you don't feel yourself moving when you're in a vehicle that's maintaining its speed. If you're in an airplane that's maintaining a rate of speed at 600 miles per hour and not decelerating or accelerating, you don't feel yourself moving either. You know, that's physics. So I've said since day one, since the Flat Earth PSYOP arrived here, it's here to discredit the truth community. It's here to make us all look foolish. And, it's here to take advantage of people who don't know better. Should easily be able to pick up the sun on a telescope at all hours of the day if the Earth's flat. And for all of you flat earthers who say it's because the sun's going out of range, like a man walking off into the distance with a lamp, here's an experiment that proves you wrong. Have your buddy stand up at the top of a mountain and you stand down at the base. When the sun sets for you, your friend who's up at the top of the mountain, they're still going to be able to see the sun because of their point of view. And technically, if you're down at the base of the mountain, in front of where your friend is up at the top, based on your theory, the man up at the top of the mountain should actually lose sight of the sun before you do, because he's further back than you are. Envision it. Like if this is the point right here, if this is the point of the mountain, this spot on the screen, and you're down here at the base of the mountain, you know what I mean? Based on your theory, because he's further back than you, the sun should set for him first. But it doesn't. He would still see the sun because he's up higher. The Earth's not flat, you guys. Been telling you that since the PSYOP got here in 2015. And if you're thinking about what I'm saying, that should prove it for you. Go pull up the sun with the telescope and prove me otherwise. You can't. Until next time.